Today we're going to discuss crossover nouns. To understand what a crossover noun is, we first have to review what both count nouns and non-count nouns are. So as the name suggests, a count noun can be both singular or plural. It can take a or an, or it can take the article the. Non-count nouns cannot be counted. There's generally only one form. They do not take a or an. They do not take numbers. They're generally in a singular form or can take a singular verb form, such as is. They can be replaced by a singular pronoun, like it. They'll often also take quantifying phrases. If we look at the example, a loaf of bread, loaf of is a quantifying phrase. So the phrase crossover can function as a noun, or it can function as a verb, as in to cross over. Both definitions involve some instance of moving from one category or one side to the next. For our purposes, crossover is functioning as an adjective. It's describing a type of noun, but it's a noun that does just that. It can be considered both a count or a non-count noun, depending on how it's used in a sentence. So if crossover nouns are considered as count nouns, they become a member of a set, category, class, or a group. If they're to be considered non-count nouns, they're more general or abstract. Let's look at the word language as an example of a crossover noun. Here are two sentences. Dr. M speaks 5 languages. In this case, the word is used in a count form. We've added the number 5 to indicate just that. One language, English, is one member of a group of 5. Here's another one. Linguistics is the study of language. Here the word is used in a non-count fashion. The study of language is more general, it's abstract. Thus, the word is being used in a non-count form. Let's see what you can do. Look at the words below. See which ones should be considered non-count only, which ones are count only, and which ones can be considered crossover nouns. The words are wood, cat, milk, mouse, pencil, paper, plastic, time, and light. You can use the rules for determining count and non-count nouns from your textbook or from the first slide in our presentation. Hopefully you came up with something like this. Paper, time, and light are the 3 crossover nouns. Milk, wood, and plastic are non-count nouns. You generally won't write a milk, a wood, a plastic. Pencil, cat, and mouse. Well, you can have more than one of all of those, so those are count nouns. Light, you might have more than one light. Or there may be a brilliant light in the sky. Let's see what you can do with the word sense. In the chat, write one sentence using the word sense as a count noun, and then write a second sentence using the word sense as a non-count noun. You probably ended up with something like this. Yesterday, Jackie taught a lesson that focused on the 5 senses. Senses, there's 5 of them. Okay, it's a count noun. In the other example, it's not a compliment to be told you have no common sense. Sense is more abstract. It's about knowledge, or lack thereof. What other crossover nouns can you come up with? Take a moment and write them in the chat. Let's go back to that word paper. What do you notice about the use of the word paper in the sentences below? Why might this word cause problems for non-native speakers? Barbara ran out of wrapping paper. She'll need to use gift bags for the remainder of her gifts. Okay, it's 2 sentences, but I had to give you some contextual clues. Same thing here, 2 sentences. Scott's paper was due last night. He did not hand it in. Third sentence, Nicole has 2 papers due on Monday. Same word 3 times. Are they being used the same way? Are they all being used as count nouns? Non-count? Could you come up with the other way of using the word? So you've looked at several words that could be considered crossover nouns. You've seen several sentences including both non-count and count nouns. Why do you think crossover nouns might cause problems for ESL students? What problems could they cause? What makes them difficult? Here's your last example. Today there is the email and the snail mail. What error related to crossover nouns is occurring in the examples above? Discuss the problem and why it's occurring in the chat. So you've got a lot to think about. But why, overall, do you think that we need to understand what crossover nouns are in order to teach our students?